Good morning to everyone and welcome to the 30th edition of this webinar series. In case you don't know who we are, we're European Capital of Democracy. It's a non-profit organisation which was founded by the Innovation in Politics Institute. We're European-wide and we're dedicated to improving politics. So we are based in Vienna and have partners in over 20 European countries and beyond. And this is the City Network. So 24 countries, 24 cities across 15 countries in Europe. And Vienna is the current European Capital of Democracy. And we're very pleased to announce that Cascais will take over next year in 2026. So they will be the next European Capital of Democracy. This Network of Towns project brings together some of our city network members: Antwerp, Barcelona, Bologna, Braga, Brussels, and Cascais. And the idea was to allow cities to teach their best practices to other city specialists and citizens across Europe, and also to learn from experts in their chosen topic fields. The topic of this webinar will be inclusive social city development. It's hosted by the City of Cascais with contributions from the City of Kraków. So we just have a little welcome and introduction now before I hand over to Tiago, who will give the first best practice presentation. And afterwards, Mateusz will present the best practices from the City of Kraków. Then we're going to have a Q&A session. This will be in 2 breakout rooms, which will be moderated by one of the team. You'll be automatically assigned to a breakout room, but you can always switch if you prefer to take part in the other discussion. And brief summary and outlook at the end. So our speakers today, as I mentioned, are Tiago and Mateusz. I would ask them both to please take a moment to introduce themselves properly at the beginning of their presentation. So, without any further ado, I would like to hand over to you, Tiago, please.
Good morning, everyone. Let me just share my presentation. I'm a social worker with the Master Business Administration. Until 2009, I worked directly with beneficiaries in multiple areas, such as justice, minimum income, elderly populations, and amongst a lot others. And from 2009, I have been more on social entrepreneurship, creating organizations, and focus on social innovation development. So very brief about me. Today, I will be talking about the work that Aproximar is doing with Cascais City Hall, and specifically with the Town Hall Councillor Carla Semedo and their team. As you probably know, if you know Cascais, it's a great challenge already to talk about this topic, because Cascais is known, I guess, everywhere to be a municipality that is very innovative, with a lot of new solutions coming out from Cascais for other municipalities, but also by adopting solutions that are tested elsewhere and providing to their citizens the best service they can offer. So when we talked, we will be looking about, let's say, cutting the chase and trying to have some common ground in terms of social innovation. Then looking a bit very briefly also to Cascais City Hall, looking to the solution of the social hub, and trying to explain a bit why we are working on this solution on the side of Aproximar, closing with some potential impacts that we want to achieve and we foresee that can be achieved. So in terms of the first topic, we must all be aware that when we talk about social innovation, we are talking about things that we do on a daily basis. Most of the organizations do, and the European Union and European Commission has achieved or reached this concept that or this definition that I'm sharing with you, where I highlight that there is a variety of innovation that can be developed. They must, of course, respond to unmet needs in a more effective way, so they can be incremental, and this is the most common thing, but they also can be disruptive. And in terms of our European, let's say, space, we want them to be a stimulus to employment. So we don't want only to create innovation by creating innovation, we want them to continue and to be sustainable. So very brief, also different concepts. We can be talking about disruptive, but mostly we are talking about incremental innovation. They can be focused on product, on process, or they can be also transformative and providing, let's say, a spiral of change in terms of our context. What we need really to have innovation, and I would say that it's impossible to do without evaluation. So most of the time we talk with organizations, with town halls, with stakeholders, and when we ask, they say, oh, it's a good practice. And then we ask, okay, so what is the evaluation? And we got stuck on that point. So to have innovation, we need to be sure that it produces change and works more effectively, as the European Union definition stated before. In terms of process, well, it's a known process. It works in different industries, of course, with adaptations. But one thing is to know the process. Another thing is to walk the walk. And to walk the walk, to deal with failure, to deal with learnings, to deal with dead alleys, to invest a lot of work, and then to understand that what you have developed doesn't really works more effective. That is really, really fierce job. And so on a daily basis, we are working to at least to change, but we know that until we get there, we need to do a lot of work. And of course, not all programs, we don't have all solutions, and it's very difficult sometimes when you develop a solution to find funding, or to find ecosystems that allow you to go and to make the internalization on your organization or the scalability. Because one thing is to produce a promising or a good practice or a best practice. Another thing is to diffuse and to make it available on a continuous way. And of course, we are doing this at Aproximar since ever, but other organizations do it, and Cascais also does it in a wide and multidimensional, let's say, way. And it's even difficult sometimes to follow everything that's coming out. Last year, they were the capital of volunteering. Next year, they will be the capital, the European democracy city. And it's a very dynamic environment. Anyway, a dynamic environment then of people, it's a growing, let's say, territory in terms of population. It has a huge diversity in terms of backgrounds, cultural, ethnographic, anthropological, you name it. Very rich. It's not so big, okay? And it has 50 municipality neighborhoods where you need to enhance the capacity and the potential of people that are, let's say, with disadvantaged backgrounds. So huge challenges that are met by teams on a daily basis, as they work very closely to the organizations such as Aproximar and others. So for these, let's say, challenges that they were working and identified in 2021, one solution is being worked out and is being implemented. And this solution in many that Cascais offers to its citizens is a Estação Hub Social. So as things go along, and as you know, you normally develop based on an initial idea, but it doesn't mean that you get to the place or you will get to a better solution than the first one that you have sought. So we are talking about a place very central in terms of the municipality, where it will be created a set of activities, of services that will allow people to have access to a wide array of social empowerment prospects. So as you can see, in terms of the solution, what we envisage is to create an ecosystem where people can identify their talents and proceed with opportunities that allow them to develop those talents and to reach their potential. And as in a, let's say, in a mall, in a commercial center, you need to have something that makes the traffic. And what is going to make the traffic is the social services that are available there. So employment services, mental health services, training, support for elderly people, different services that will create this traffic of people. People will come, and then we will show other things, both for organizations, but also for the communities. And you can see in terms of also enhancing people that otherwise will not have an opportunity to show their work or to even create their spaces to the general community and population. But also thinking on creating opportunities for people to work together, to cooperate, and to participate in the solution development, and to raise the funding that allows them to prototype and to see if things that they saw, they dreamed, or they just plan or design work for the wider community, building social business models. And this means also to invest in supporting the incubation of these solutions that people will are eager to try and to test. And this is done because we need to have a very participatory methodology. So a thing that can adhere to the reality and adhere to the natural movement of people when they are producing solutions. And since ever, in terms of Aproximar, we apply an adaptation of the double diamond in terms of design thinking, because we believe it and we test it and it works. And I will show you also through the benchmark. And that's what we are finding that is getting people more on board. So we are talking about putting organizations working together and making them think on how they can add value to a problem. And this is very tough and difficult when we are talking about social innovation and putting together organizations that are all of them very thirsty of resources and very in need of finding solutions for their business models. So we, of course, want to focus on cooperation. We could, for profit, they use competition. For us, cooperation is the one that will bring more value in the long term. But it's harder because we need to know the details, we need to know each other, we need to reach trust levels that otherwise will make things work poorly. And we see this on the initiatives and innovation labs that we conduct, putting together different partners from different countries, and it's a big challenge. So if we find clusters and put people to work on clusters, then we need to bring the stakeholders that might be interested in joining us and working on these solutions. And this means that different stakeholders, they can work in a wide array of clusters, of course, but they will be focused on that. And if we think, and we believe if we work like this, then the intersections will make the innovation appear. And these people, the cooperation should be focused on these topics that we are showing. So impact assessment, training and knowledge transfer, concept ideation, and this is where we are putting people to work and where they are participating and developing the solutions. So if we look to the cluster, and if we think that we can seed solutions and then decide the solutions that should be scaled, we will have a very huge amount of a huge portfolio where you can, for instance, here in Freedom Crickets, you can fight climate change while providing solutions for employment of youngsters in prison. We created, for instance, a unit to produce crickets inside a juvenile prison unit, or fighting isolation and increasing mental well-being, creating a platform where people can register and be available to support old people in our communities isolated without the network to say hello in the morning or to go shopping together or doing other things. And this solution was also developed and is available in French and Portuguese and other language, amongst a huge variety of other things that can be done using this cluster, let's say, approach for social innovation. So why do we say this? Are we saying this because we like it? Well, we have been working on this approach since 2006 on Aproximar. Of course, we are a social innovation hub. We are a social cooperative. We are finding our own resources. We don't have capital investment. We don't have funding sources. So we fight every day to get the resources to deliver our vision and mission on a daily basis. And what we have been finding is that, of course, things, and this is our state of the art at the moment, what we have been finding is that we have a dynamo. We have, let's say, a motor that feeds us. So we are always seeking and talking with people, different stakeholders. Everyone can reach us. As we met the Cascais town hall, we meet more than 300 organizations. So we are discussing about what are the needs that are unmet. And from that, we put our proposals to the test, and we put our proposals for others to evaluate. And if they think they are valued enough, they give us funding. From that, we need to deliver programs that can work for what you see on the foot of the slide. And of course, this is a long way. This is not something that you do. It takes time, it takes resolve, and it's not miraculous. It's something that you need to nurture, you need to invest, you need to work on a daily basis and invest everything you have. But for us, we believe that it can be done, and we think we will continue to strive. And also thinking about, well, you reach someone else external recognition that you have a good practice. But for you, it must be only a promising practice, because if this practice is not diffused, is not made available on a scalable way, you haven't achieved the ultimate goal of social innovation. So this means that in terms of the social hub, we are looking for solutions that can last and that can make a difference for disadvantaged populations. And closing, since we are reaching our 20 minutes, we are thinking as we shared, social services that are made available, are accessible, are central, make people come to the spaces. From that traffic, let's say we need to have, we will have, as we do it in Cascais, in different neighborhoods, discovering, mentoring, and clustering talent, incubating cooperation, giving people the tools to dream and to go beyond their horizons, thinking about empowering civil society organizations for multi-source funding, believing that they can find ways to put their social business models to work, and to have flexibility enough, to be flexible enough to understand when something doesn't work, they need to change or they need to discontinue. As any other service in other industries, if you don't have any way to buy, no person to buy it, you need to close it, or you need to rethink, you need to restructure your service in a way that will be needs-driven, that can be scalable and can be brought into policies and capacity building of ecosystems. So we have been talking about using the social hub to change the way the city hall looks into social innovation, and now it is using social innovation to produce social cohesion. And we truly believe, and we have been talking with the City Hall Councillor Carla Semedo, and we are sure that she also believes that to have a city council social innovation city council would help to enhance and to trigger sustaining efforts, ensuring accessibility, to make the ecosystem of social innovation more effective, and to increase the solutions to promote social cohesion. And we are not talking about empty plans. We are talking about specific plans that have specific activities and that can be, let's say, to build as an umbrella to the social hub that is working already on the municipality. Well, the 20 minutes have already passed. So closing only to say that if someone can do this process, it is of course Cascais. And we really hope we can see steps further as we have been working on different actions and different solutions that are being implemented in different territories. And at the end of the day, we can introduce some capillarity and integration through the hub social and then to the city, the Social Innovation City Council. So thank you, and I hope you have enjoyed. And I would like to thank, of course, the invitation from Cascais to share with all of you.
Thank you so much, Tiago. That was fascinating. And I just want you to all hang on to your questions for the breakout room, scribble them down, and in about 20 minutes time, we can have a more in-depth discussion. Because now I would like to hand over to Mateusz from Krakow for his presentation.
Hello, everyone. Mateusz Poskomka, Municipality of Krakow. Small introduction. I'm Deputy Director of Department of Dialogue, Consultation and Citizen Contact. It's a quite new, fresh structure in the City Hall in Krakow because it was established last year after the election. And I'm responsible for dialogue, participation tool in Krakow, and of course about the places which support participation. And my presentation, it will be a small journey through Krakow, through places which support participation. And let me share the presentation. Okay. I think it's okay. Yes, okay. So, of course, some information about Krakow. Krakow is the second city in Poland. It's the last numbers show us that officially we have 804,000 citizens. Of course, for real, it's about 1,200,000 because of students and workers who are in Krakow and usually living around in different municipalities around our city. For start, maybe a reverse slogan of my presentation, because I'd like to tell you something about our good practice with places, infrastructure which support participation in Krakow. And first, what I would like to talk about are civic centers. The civic centers are in Krakow from the, I think, last 10 years. This moment, we have 3 civic centers in Krakow. There are free spaces running by NGOs, so it's a kind of intersectoral cooperation, of course, based on money from the city budget and grants. So there are free places for citizens and NGOs both. Free space which a special place to work and develop, specially dedicated for the young organization, dedicated for active people who'd like to build an organization. We give them support, we give them advice, trainings, and we have qualified people who give them, for example, law advice or financial advice. And if you don't want to work as an NGO, of course, as a citizen, you can go there and do some projects or ask what and how you can involve to city life. Of course, we are talking about, for example, all these city activities and volunteer things. When we're talking about the context, as I said, it's comprehensive support and for development of social activities. Our challenge is, first of all, I think it's to work with acting people and work in community life. And of course, when talking about the impact, first of all, I think the role of these places is to develop local leaders and give them the skills and opportunity to be active in local communities, and of course, in the near future, maybe to establish their own NGOs and work with municipality, for example, in the with the grant system. Another places, and we get to one of them, it's a multicultural center. As maybe you don't know, but the Krakow, the numbers for today are about 15% of foreigners and people from different minorities who are the citizens in Krakow. There are not only people from the Ukrainian territory because of war situation, but we have people from over 60 different directions, basically all over the world. So 4 years ago, we running multicultural center. Multicultural center, again, it's a free space. It's a informal space for especially foreigners and people from different minorities. But when we're talking about the integration, of course, we have to talk about all citizens. So the role of this place is to involve all our citizens and make some actions with them. You see the three basic functions of this place. They are informational, because in multicultural centers we provide first point contact for the foreigners, engaging, and of course creational. So as you see on this picture, many activities when we sometimes try to solve some problems, sometimes make some events for all our citizens. And I think it's very interesting, because every year about 6,000 people are going through this multicultural centers. And of course, this place was very helpful because of conflict on Ukrainian territory, because naturally it was the first point contact for the people who was going through the Ukrainian border. Contacts encourage cultural integration. First of all, promoting cultural diversity in our city, engaging NGOs, and of course, when we talking about challenges, we are talking about the situation, how to involve people from people who are foreigners or people from different minorities to the city life, and how to involve them to the city processes. Again, place which I want to talk about, it's residence activities places. It's a little different than the two before, because it's rather an action we provide in the neighborhoods. Residence activity places are, again, informal space, free space, but first of all, this space based on the neighborhoods, based on needs of the people from the neighborhood. So we don't have a program like in cultural centers or something like that. We try to collect the needs of very local communities. And on that needs we build the program. So the people from neighborhoods are involved, and they create the place. Even when we're talking about the painting walls and taking the furniture to the place. And then, of course, when we're talking about the activities, the important thing is that these places are for everybody. So we're talking about the children, the youth, elderly people. Everybody can go there, and everybody can ask about their needs and do something for their other neighbors. Improvement, reciprocity, openness, and shared and responsibility. The last one is very important because we are not talking only about involving people, we're talking about the responsibility. And that's why the people feel in place like in their homes. About the context, of course, the trust in neighborhoods, through joining initiatives and integrational functions. Challenges, of course, we're still talking about the participation, and we're talking about integration and on the neighborhood level, but truly we're talking about how to involve these people to again, city line and participation tools which are in our city, and of course impact, encourage sense of safety and trust to better acquaintance with neighborhoods. That's main impact. Another things, youth labs. Youth labs, there are places, again, informal places, but dedicated for youth. We recognize it like a people from 16 to 25 years old in Krakow. Again, informal places. This moment we have 5 youth labs. They are rather small places, something like neighborhood places, which I was talking about before. And the interesting thing is that this youth labs we start to create because of municipality program, municipality policy for the youth. When we're preparing this policy, we have we had a diagnosis prepared by researchers, and during this diagnosis, youth told us that they need something like a free informal space, which are not a school space, which are not a cultural center space, because they want to have a space where they can meet together, talk, do some projects, sometimes do a school exercise, but sometimes do some interesting things for the group, their youth group, sometimes programs and projects for schools, sometimes the projects for the school participatory budget, because in Krakow we have the participatory tools. Like they like to develop their passions, they like to equalizing opportunities, and of course we still talk about the diversity and multiculturalism because of this percentage of foreigners in Krakow. In this group, when you're talking about young people, all this thing belongs to multiculturalism and diversity are very important. Context, increasing access to education skills development. Challenges, I think I have to say about the foundings, because as I said, in Cascais, we have in the youth labs something like small and micro grants, something like that. So sometimes it's very hard for us to ask our dissidents about the big money for small projects, because dissidents rather prefer the big projects for big money. So that's a challenge, a little, but we try to handle it. And of course, when talking about the impact, of course, the impact, first of all, for us, important is the engagement of youth and working with youth and develop their passions. Another thing, Active Residence Academy. It's not about the places, but it's our activity with citizens. It's never mind. It's youth, elderly people, and or just inhabitants. Active Residence Academy, because when we got the places, we have to have people who will be for example, animators for these places, operators. Of course, we based generally on cooperation with NGOs, but of course, active peoples in our local communities are very important for us, especially when we're talking about giving them skills and knowledge how the city works, how to work with different groups of people, knowledge about the participatory tools, knowledge how to involve people to the action, and we give them workshops, and every year a group about 30 to 50 people and this academy, and they are going to their local communities and support people and to support our places. Yes, this moment we have 5 edition of this Active Residence Academy. And context, of course, there are skills, there are opportunity to change, challenges. Of course, it's sometimes it's very hard to involve people to be a leader in local society. So, of course, we cooperate with universities. So this is another example why the intersectoral partnership is important when we're talking about the participation, because knowledge of our academics give us benefits, give us information, give us skills, and this is the way how we work with people when we are talking about this kind of support. And the last one thing, and it's a Zabocie Social Economic Innovation Cluster. It's a place, and I'd like to talk about it not only because this is headquarters of our department, but it's a special place, open, informal special place dedicated for active people, for NGOs, for small business and fresh business, and for incubation for the business. But for us, is a place when we as a department have prepared some activities dedicated for the citizens or dedicated for the NGOs. And because I was asked about some slides about the participatory budget, so this is a place where we are preparing many activities for this very important in our city too. As I said, action, knowledge, participation, change, that's our topics, that's our way of thinking when we're talking about the cluster. Context, some years ago, it was a proposition to revitalize the old building on this part of Krakow, and because of European funds, we can revitalize this building and build a cluster. Of course, it's for everybody. This is a place not only where our department is situated, but for example, the multicultural center, which I was talking about on the beginning of the presentation, is situated on this address. And of course, participatory budget in Krakow. This is a center, this is a headquarter of participatory budget in Krakow. Participatory budget in Krakow, in short information, this year we have 12th edition of participatory budget in Krakow. This year, this over 10 million euro for the citizens. As you see, 2.2 million for the project, for the citywide projects, and 8.7 million euro for the district projects. So we have participatory budget on two levels, citywide and the district projects. This process looks like you see on the slides. We have education campaign, we have the time for the collecting of proposals, we have a verification time, and of course the education campaign just before the election, not election, voting for the project, because in Poland the participatory budgets are regulated on the national law, and we have to have voting time for the projects. And of course, on the end of October, we know what kind of projects will be starts on the next year. Whole process is beginning on February and end on the October. As you see, these are submitting projects as information which are collected on the projects. So we work with people or group people or people who represent the organization or institutions and try to support them how to prepare the proposal, of course, how to explain other people's what this project about, and how to calculate them, how to put the harmonogram of realization. Areas which are most popular in Krakow: greenery, sport, culture, society, health. I think maybe they are the same like in other cities in Poland and Europe who have participatory budgets. And of course, for us, a big challenge every year, because this project is on the diagnosis and evaluation process in ongoing model. So every year we have feedback about how to prepare another process. And of course, one of the important thing is information about the promotional activities, because as you know, the information and how to share the information and promotional activities is very important, because our role is to involve as big group of our citizens to this process as possible. When we're talking about the last part of this process, I mean, voting time, for the last year, it was 10% of inhabitants. So as you see, it's a lot work to do. Some pictures for that. As you see on some of them, there are the places of the cluster, because as I said, the cluster is a place when we develop budget obywatelski and participatory budget, and try to support in many different ways, support our citizens, how to prepare the proposals, how to promote the proposals, etc., etc. And challenges in civic participation in Krakow, I think the same challenges like in your cities. Encouraging citizen engagement, effective communication. I think communication is very important, and not only with the citizens, but sometimes communication is very important even in our organization, because it's a lot of work to do on that level. Development of participatory infrastructure, strength of intersectoral cooperation. I think that Krakow is a good example how to work with different sectors. I mean, business, academics, NGOs, how to work with different institutions, not only city institutions, and of course, how to work with the citizens. And inclusion and diverse social groups. We are very multicultural city, and we should always look at that side and think about diversity, think about inclusion. That's all for today. Of course, our websites where you can find all information which we are talking about. If you have any questions for me, of course, I'm here. Thank you.
Hand over to Eleanor, who could please briefly summarize the discussion in room 1, and then Miriam could summarize the discussion in room 2.
Hello, everyone, again, and thank you so much for the Cascais again to represent this amazing presentation. I think we needed more time to discuss some stuff because we're also very late, but it was very engaging and very interesting. Firstly, we discussed more about in the depth that what is exactly the projects are and how the young people and the senior citizens are involved in this. And then we discussed about the fundings itself, because there was more interest from different kind of cities, how they can maybe implement those kind of projects even in their cities. So that was in a nutshell, I would say, but it was very engaging and very interesting. And thank you so much again. I mean, I'm more than happy to write down in the group if there's more questions, but the rest, this is all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eleanor. And Miriam, how did you get on room 2?
I think we got on nicely. I think we got on quite well. I enjoyed the discussion. I hope others did as well. But we didn't manage to answer or ask all the questions, which I think is a good sign. But we touched upon different aspects and different challenges of the project and initiatives, and yeah, thanks for everyone who contributed with a question. Thanks to Mateusz for the answers, and just on a personal note, we saw quite a few thumbs up in the breakout room, so I consider that my personal, one of the highlights.
Very good.
It was
very
nice discussion.
Excellent. So yes, once again, thank you so much to Tiago and Mateusz for joining us today and giving us insight into what's going on in Cascais and Krakow. So here we are, we're in March, and there's only 3 more webinars to go, which I will give you an overview of now. So we're handing over to the City of Bologna, who are going to host the next 2 webinars. The first one will be on diversity and inclusion. The City of Bologna will be joined by 2 other network members who will present their best practices on diversity and inclusion. Then in May, we have a very interesting speaker who's going to talk about data feminism in the context of Bologna. And we will wrap up the series in June with the impact garden methodology, which I'm really excited about. And we will also try to summarize in a very short space of time the entire webinar series. So please do join us for the next 3 editions. We also have some news about the Innovation in Politics Awards. Those of you who have known the Institute for a little while know that this is now the 8th edition of the awards, if I'm not mistaken. The gala will take place on Wednesday, the 17th of September. So we have a little while to go, but if you know of an innovative project, if you're running an innovative project in your city or doesn't have to be within a city, it can also be elsewhere, then please do submit it. The submission deadline is Thursday, the 10th of April, and we would really like to see some new, fresh, groundbreaking projects from all across Europe. So do click the link. We'll share the presentations with you afterwards, and you can click the link here to submit your project. We also have the Akbau Mayors Conference coming up in May. So it's Monday the 5th and Tuesday the 6th of May, and the topic is just transition. So local action for a sustainable future is, of course, hosted by the current European Capital of Democracy, the City of Vienna, and it will be in the Rathaus, the town hall. So you can register here by clicking on the link. We will have mayors from all over Europe joining us there to discuss the green transition and how to make it a fair transition for all. So it only remains for you to please share your thoughts with us. You can scan the QR code here, and I will try to put the link in the chat. Please share your impressions from the webinar, and I will display the results in just a moment. Okay, so keep those responses coming in. We will also publish them on the website, where there will be links to the presentations, and in a few days there will be the edited version of the recording. Finally, you can give us some feedback on the webinar using the survey here. So thank you very much for all of you for joining us today, and hopefully see you at the next one.